Welcome to 2 on the 10.
Two on the 10, baby. Back again.
We back.
Oh, yeah. Another week. I'm Paul.
I'm Mitch.
Greedy Nick.
Greedy.
Yes. Good to see you guys this week, man.
Well, definitely. Good to see you. Good to be here.
Yeah. Feeling good?
Feeling all right.
You know, you're looking good.
Well, thank you. Likewise.
So, hey, do you got any special announcements before we get
Oh,
started?
yeah, you know what? I actually want to shout out my boy, 49er Mike, he's, been watching the show and stuff. In fact, he sent in a clip. Now, we had our, 2 on the 10 podcast fact check team actually check this out. And unfortunately, Mike, we cannot post the story. We found out, at least to our knowledge and our extent of the background checks that we do, that Lizzo did not kill or injure anybody doing a stage dive. So that is false news. So unfortunately, we can't report that.
Fake news.
Fake news.
And that's not the only person that sent that in, but it was a few people based on the Lizzo story. So we're looking out,
Lizzo
Mike.
this time was unavailable for comment.
Yeah. That's crazy. All right, man, let's get right into it. Maui is on fire right now. Crazy.
It's burned down.
I mean, well, not all of it, but it's definitely on fire. I mean, so far there's 110 people dead. And
At least,
counting.
I heard that the numbers aren't even doing it justice. First of all, my thoughts and prayers go out to everybody affected by that. I mean, the tragedy and everything else. I mean, it's just, it's sad disaster seeing, people's lives, just destroyed, lost. People are missing. I've also heard there's even a lot of kids that might be either injured or killed. There's not even on the counts yet.
Wow.
That's what.
Wow. I heard the thing started by a down power line. Is that true?
That sounds like the playbook.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
That's the California playbook. That's supposedly what PG&E did, which this reminds me, like, after you see it burn, after you see the burns and you see that, like, some trees don't get burned and certain areas don't get burned and some stuff, metal gets burned, but some doesn't, it looks just like Santa Rosa and Napa a few years back.
Okay.
And what was the storyline there? The power lines went down, of course. I lived in the Bay Area my whole life till I was, until 97. No issues like that whatsoever. And I know the power lines get older, et cetera, but I even wanted to know who owned the PG&E power lines, who are the owners of PG&E. This is California, of course, just
right.
for no confusion. And lo and behold, through different degrees of separation, the Rothschilds, the family in England, owns PG&E.
Right.
Very interesting, the supposedly global elite.
Wow.
And so, wow. They just never kept up their power lines. They must not have the money to do so, And then that's the narrative, and that's the narrative supposedly that's going on in Maui. Even though other people were reporting green laser beams, and there's videos of it, but you can always just say that's not true, especially with the days of AI and all the different altered effects and stuff. So,
Well, what's that? Hawaiian Electric is, preparing for a lawsuit to come from, people that live in Maui.
do we know who owns Hawaiian Electric?
No,
We don't. I looked. It's hard to. It looks like it's maybe publicly owned or publicly, like a local company, but there was reports that they were maybe selling back in the day. So I couldn't get a good answer on who actually owns
That'd be interesting.
Hawaiian Electric.
Watch it be the Rothschilds through 6 degrees of separation. Oh, speaking of coincidences, and then we'll talk more about, obviously about this tragedy, but I find it very interesting, and again, shout out to all my coincidence theorists, and it's very coincidental that the Maui chief of police that's handling this is John Pelletier, who was the lead police officer in the Vegas shootings.
wow.
One tragedy to the next, huh?
So he goes from Nevada to Hawaii now.
Yeah, if he couldn't get the casino footage and the crime scene, the video, the photo was leaked. It sounds like they're doing some quality work.
Right.
For who?
So we talk about the the trust of the government. Even Hawaiians are out there. They started their own aid drop because they weren't trusting FEMA and help from the government that were coming out there, which is really sad if this is true. Like I said, I can't confirm or deny. These are just what's coming out of Hawaii right now. It's chaos right now, so you can't get true statements. But Mitch, I think you did. You told me earlier. You read something about locals talking about some kind of connection between the land that's gotten burned and what EV
Yeah, well, I'll say this first of all. Some of the stories that are coming out, and I like to go through the comments. I like to see what people state. I like to go check, not because it's funny. 'Cause some of the fake comments and stuff is a person's name with no profile that's on a a blocked account with a number behind it, 00873, and they're the most opinionated or against the, they're always for the program, it seems. But then you see somebody, and you see like this wildflower hippie lady or whatever that lives on the island, has pictures of her family, 500 photos dating back 15 years, and she gives an opinion. I think it's a little more credible. That's just my 2 cents. And I've seen more than a few, trying to search, for gems, needle and haystacks. But people were saying that that the fire alarms never sounded, which is very interesting. The fire alarms never sounded, and that the local fire department was actually told to stand down, basically, which is a theme we keep hearing.
What?
Yeah, they were told to stand down because the fire was contained. And yeah, so I mean that it just again, we already talked about many reports of green lasers, people seeing green lasers, coming down from the sky hitting the land. There's videos of it, but again, can you authenticate that?
Yeah, I've heard some reports, and again, true or not, not for me to decide, but that some of the people's houses that burned, the insurance companies are now denying their claims, saying that there was issues with the property. Although they took their premium for a number of years, now they're saying they're not going to pay out. And then, of course, then these big developers are stepping in and are willing to pay a premium for this now vacant land so they can build their
Inhabitable
projects
land, yep.
or whatever they want to do right now. So
Speaking of projects, one of the rumored projects back in 2011, it was called Jumpstart Maui Project 2015, which basically was, going to be the first fully EV grid, and some people are claiming, this might be a little conspiracy, but, with ties into smart cities eventually, but the locals wouldn't sell. And that's the theme I'm also hearing. The locals, very prideful, family-oriented, handed down from generations, do not want to sell that land.
Right.
But now it seems like they're the only ones whose land was affected. But to finish this thought on the Maui Project 2015, supposedly there's a digital government summit in Waikiki, how convenient, next month. And they're supposedly going to push the project, try and revitalize the project, push the project forward. Maybe possibly with the land that is now non-livable. That's the rumors. On top of that, and I know, point and counterpoint, a lot of the celebrities that live here, their homes weren't touched. Now, some people say they're on the other side of the hill, up on the top of the hill, et cetera, et cetera. But some of the celebrities that have, prime real estate out there on the island, Jeff Bezos, Will Smith, Oprah, Lady Gaga, Julia Roberts, Bill Gates, Morgan Freeman, to name a few.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys ever been to Maui, but I have. So
I've watched Hawaii 5-0.
I like how he's like, I don't know if you guys have been in Hawaii. I have.
But you had to take a boat. It's called Turtle Island. So they live out there by Turtle Island. So you had to take a boat to get out there. I mean, it's still it's still on the island, but they are away from everyday Maui.
Well, the place that burned down, the one of the major areas, Lahaina, that's like the big tourist area, and there's a ton of local people that live there. I remember there was like a super old crazy tree that had all these vines everywhere. You could like walk through it and climb on it, and just like a lot of old Hawaiian-owned shops and businesses that had been there forever, and they relied heavily on tourism. And I think I mean, putting my tinfoil hat on, Mitch. They try to, Hawaii was one of the places that shut down the most during COVID, for safety. So who was hit the hardest? These tourist spots like Lahaina in Maui, they're getting no people in, no one's coming to those shops. So those shops struggle just to survive. And when, even all through COVID, they still survived and they didn't sell, they didn't get rid of their properties. Well, then they had to, it seems like they had to take it a step further to try to, transfer the ownership of the land to the people that had the money.
Let's just look at it real quick. I mean, and again, I'm not for left or right, but a lot of my left friends, they'll sit there and they'll point out certain things, and then they'll stop when it comes to this, and they'll be like, Mitch, this is insensitive to talk like this, or to even just debate these ideas, or even And again, I start with my prayers are out to these people. I think my feelings are, you're not it's not like the one guy where you're not saying these people aren't. That the tragedy didn't happen. You're saying the tragedy happened. You're giving your thoughts and prayers genuinely. You're being compassionate. And then you're truthfully, because of this happening, you're trying to find the truth.
You question it. So you're saying you're questioning the reason behind it.
Yeah, question the reason behind it. And the funny thing is, people need a wide awakening. These are the same people that basically burned down Black Wall Street. You know what I mean? Like you can't. I don't see how you can support Black Wall Street in that movement and then just be oblivious to anything else. You know, and I'm not saying that, but I mean, you got to keep connecting the dots because these are the same people and these are the same playbooks. You know.
And I saw some like pictures and video of like the houses. I've never seen like in a community fire where we're not talking it's in a forest or densely wooded area. I mean, it's open, it's airy. I've never seen house to house to house just leveled to the ground by fire. Like usually you'll see some walls still up and part of the house burns, part of the house doesn't. This just looked like it looks like a bomb went off and just annihilated the houses, even to the point where like the cars, the engine blocks melted and the aluminum in the tires actually melted, and you can see it actually running down the sidewalk, like aluminum from the rims of the tires, like path dripping down the sidewalk. Never seen that in any fire anywhere. I didn't see that in 9/11 when, they blew up the buildings.
No, don't get me started on 9/11. That's enough.
I'm just saying,
That's another story.
I guess if fire can melt steel, it can pretty much do anything at that point.
I mean, thermite can. I'm sure dew can. Direct energy weapons, and I'm sure HARP can. Affect the weather. But I mean,
All right, so
Allegedly.
Okay, so question to you, Mitch, since you tap dance around that a little bit.
yes, that's the answer. Yes, I do think there is something funny going on.
That's what I didn't ask you. I said, what started it then? What started the fire? If it wasn't
First of all, I ain't Billy Joel. We didn't start the fire.
if it wasn't the power lines, then what started the fire? What's your synopsis?
I'm gonna come out real crazy here, but I honestly think, like I said, I think a cocktail of dew and HARP, direct energy weapons and HARP. Yeah, weather manipulation.
Yeah, and the other thing I think is crazy is you see these houses that are annihilated, nothing, just down to the slab, nothing else left. But right next to it, there'll be 4 trees that look like they're barely even burned, or just slightly burned.
And I've never seen that pattern till Napa and Santa Rosa.
Yep. And it's just, you would think if the fire was that intense that it could melt cars and melt the engine blocks, that the trees would be no match for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Okay.
But what do I know? I'm not in Hawaii, and like Mitch said, it sucks, and you hate to see the loss of life and the loss of property, but it raises more questions than it answers when you start really looking into it, and you hear the story that the press puts out, and then you look into like these videos from people that are actually there that are just filming.
Say something else, yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, how could just a normal fire, because it's not a special fire, it's just a regular fire, where again, not even in like a heavily wooded area or like where things are spread out, or you have houses separated by a street. How is the fire so intense that it just melts everything in its path? I just never seen that
except
before.
for a few trees.
Yeah.
And except for certain things here or there.
Yeah, I've never seen fire like that. Even when they show like these, huge forest fires where it burns all these houses, there's still parts of the house still there. They're not burned down a lot of times to the core of the house, to the it's just, I don't know what even to say about it. It's crazy to think that, in this day and age, we're still dealing with these types of issues.
That our government doesn't like us?
That, and that it's so divided, like you said, Mitch, you can't even ask the questions.
Yeah.
Because, you're a conspiracy theorist, or you're.
Because that's good programming and training by the people in power to make people afraid to even question.
Yeah.
But that's why we're here. We're here to debate, and we're here to make people think. So whether one way or the other.
Yeah. Do your own research.
Yeah, we can talk about this, and now, maybe bringing up, some of these, I'd say discrepancies. Yeah. You can go, like you said, go do your own research, and then you come to your own conclusion.
Well, I think that's one of the great things, and I've got this feedback from like my cousin and some people that listen to the podcast, is that, when they listen, it's not like we're just, they know us. We're normal guys. We just, everybody, and we have our own opinions, and not all of us agree on everything, but, we can talk about this stuff, and we do it in a sensible and educated way. Respectful that, it's not one of these, like tinfoil, conspiracy episodes. It's just 3 guys talking about possibility of what could have happened. Mm-hmm. And I think people, the feedback that I've gotten is that people respect that. People like the fact that we're not like just off the wall crazy, and they know all of us, and they know we're just 3 normal guys. So it gives them another outlet to hear about things and get a different perspective that they don't normally get from mainstream media or from talking to their friends day to day. They get a different of opinion and a different perspective on things happening in the world today. So
I know you said normal a couple of times, like you're really trying to push that narrative.
we're just three normal guys.
All right.
Hey, speaking of that, Nick, what time does your band play at Chuck E. Cheese?
They don't anymore. We got kicked out.
They canceled last week.
Speaking of canceled, Paul,
Yes.
I went to go place a sports bet on WynnBet the other day, and it looks like they're closing down a couple of their states that they're allow betting in for WynnBet because they're losing too much money. So
it should be called Lose Bet.
So WynnBet is closing in what, 8 different states right now?
8 different states. They're looking at New York and Michigan as well as closing. They're only going to looks like end up staying open in the 2 states that they have a physical presence, like a casino in, which is Nevada and Massachusetts, I think it was. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Sports betting had this big boom, and now you're starting to see that. There's the haves and the have-nots with sports betting. You have like FanDuel and DraftKings. They basically account for as much as 75% or more of mobile sports betting.
But they had in my opinion, they were like the Amazon of it. Because if you think about it, they first of all, they fought the court battles just for the fantasy aspect of it.
Right.
And which became kind of almost like the first kind of the beta testing for gambling, and then they won the court cases and stuff like that. And then it seems like they created their systems. They were kind of like the Amazon of it, in my opinion. They created their
Whatever.
apps.
It was easy for them to
come into that field.
Exactly.
And then develop the apps.
And then they had the name. They had the name like WynnBet in most of the states that they're canceling. They were only getting about 1% of the total amount wagered in the state. So you had, FanDuel and DraftKings, and then you have a couple other ones, BetMGM and Caesars that do pretty good. And then you have a spattering of other ones, and a couple of them have already closed down recently. Like in Arizona right now, in Arizona, they limit the number of people that can run a sports book digitally in Arizona. Right now, we have 4 open licenses that nobody has claimed yet. So,
really?
Well, once WynnBet closes, that'll be the 4th. So there's 3 available right now.
So we get 2 on the 10 sports betting.
So it might be 2 on the 10 sports betting.
Gotta look into that.
And see what we can do. But the crazy thing about that, you look at sports betting as a whole, and you would think that these casinos, just because it's in other states, they had the playbook. They do it in their casinos all the time and make a ton of money. Why doesn't that translate to the digital world for them? Is it because people have the ability to do their own research and look things up, and it's on demand, and they can do as much research as the books can, and it's not like you're standing at a window and you have to make a split decision?
I think it's also advertising. I mean, FanDuel and DraftKings do an amazing job. Just I was talking, we were talking about Barbie before and how they came out, and their advertising is amazing. I mean, what do they partner with? NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, the 3 biggest sports here, in the United States, and they run it. I mean, if you think about after DraftKings and FanDuel, who do you think about? Maybe Caesars, just because they
Caesars or BetMGM,
because
because they have some commercials.
They have some commercials, I know, but it's either I know when I sports bet, it's it's mainly on FanDuel. You know what I'm saying? So I know you go back and forth, Nick.
Yeah, I checked. I mean, I had every app that was available in Arizona, but I would go back and forth between the different ones because sometimes there was big odds discrepancies. So you would see something like a team was plus 120 and one, and on another site they might be plus 300. Well, that's a big difference if you're going to bet that team money line. You might as well take the money at plus 300 than plus 120. So it's just that's the only reason I did it for, was to shop odds when I was placing a bet to find the best deal for where I could put my money.
I know this when word got broke, that Wynn, book was closing, especially for Arizona and stuff too. We all got that because we've been Wynn members or whatever. I know I posted mine on IG and on my stories and stuff, and I had 2 different groups of people go, "Man, we busted their heads!" Like they were like seriously, and they were posting stuff. I'm like, "Damn, this dude just posted he won 10 Gs. He posted he won 5. They posted he won 15." Like I'm like, and people mostly when it comes to posting and showing off on IG and Instagram and Facebook and stuff, they always post their wins. You don't really see the losses.
Yep.
But I'm like, damn, okay. And then he hits me immediately and goes, "Man, we busted their heads," And also, again, I made a post about it, and some of the feedback was they just weren't as advanced. They were like the old dinosaur in it, whereas, like we said, FanDuel and DraftKings, were like made it more fun, made it more interactive and stuff.
Well, I will say the one thing about WynnBet that I noticed is they didn't do a lot of promotions. They didn't have like odds boosts and free bets and things like that. It was very plain dry, like you're walking up to a casino. And I think, like you said, Mitch, some of the other offerings give you more bang for your buck, and that's why people would spend their money elsewhere. Especially if the same bet you're gonna get a free bet back if it loses, or an odds boost or something like that. It makes it worth going with somebody else than just placing a straight up bet and getting no benefit from it.
Speaking of a sports book that just got, is going out of business, but just got bought, Barstools just got bought back for how much?
Well, so Barstool had signed a deal with Penn Entertainment. Actually, they just finalized that deal back in February this year for $551 million to basically come together with Barstool Sports to make Barstool Sportsbook. Didn't really go as planned for Barstool and Penn Entertainment. Just they even with the advertising and everything from Barstool, they just couldn't get the footing. They couldn't, they weren't eating into FanDuel and DraftKings, market share. So they sold Barstool Sports, the entity Barstool Sports, back to former owner Dave Portnoy for $1.
Nice tax write-off.
Yeah, so they took they said it's going to be reported $850 million loss for this year that they're going to report. But then they turned around and signed Penn Entertainment signed a deal with ESPN to make ESPN Bet. And it's a 10-year deal, and Penn Entertainment is guaranteeing $150 million a year for the next 10 years to use for the brand and the marketing behind ESPN. And then they're also guaranteeing another $150 million a year for the next 10 years to off-channel marketing and ads. So that's marketing and advertisement of ESPN Bet on other channels and other
So hold on a
events. And other
second.
sports.
So ESPN is about to come out with his own sports book?
Basically, they're putting their name behind Penn Entertainment Sportsbook, so it's going to be called ESPN Bet.
How you think that's going to do, Mitch?
Not as good as Sunny Delight vodka.
All I'm going to say now,
Well, it's doing well. I see people posting the hell out of it.
Including me.
what I'm going to say is if, you think like we've seen over the last couple of years, the shift on like sports shows to discuss odds and gambling numbers, you're going to see that go up tenfold with ESPN on every
Conflict of interest like a motherfucker.
every game they broadcast. You're probably going to have scrolls on the bottom with their odds for things to happen. It's going to be every, Sports Center is going to have odds for every game they discuss. They're going to show bad beats. They're going to show big wins. They're going to show all kinds of stuff. They're going to use the power of ESPN and the sports to really push the sports book.
I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to that. I think it'd be cool. See a little ticker at the bottom.
Now, there's already a couple. So Fox Sports and CBS Sports have already tried this, and it hasn't gone so well for them. But I think ESPN just has that name, so maybe it'll be different for them. Who knows? I don't know if they, FanDuel and DraftKings kind of have that market, and unless they screw something up, I don't know how someone overtakes them.
Well, here's the other thing too. I remember when I was learning all the little Amazon tricks and putting ads on Facebook and stuff. This had to be 2016. Just learning all that stuff. And one of the things back then, social media does not like the corporate. They don't like corporate.
Yep.
It's like anti-corporate. So one of the things they used to go is don't have a perfect ad, don't have perfect videos. Don't pay so much for overproduction because the person's going to watch and go, I don't like that. There's already this anti-corporate, anti-establishment when it comes to buying and purchasing. They'd rather check with mom and pops. They also feel like, in my opinion, from everything I've read and studied, they feel like they have a better chance with a place that's coming in, not in your face that we make tons of money and we have a profit line we have to make and tote, So it's like, again, that's where I think that both, FanDuel and DraftKings do a great job of capturing the consumer's loyalty, their passion, and holding it,
Yeah, but ESPN has the market where they can, they're going to show those big wins on their channels and talk about, oh, someone today won, hit a 10-leg parlay and won $250,000. This happens every day. You need to start betting. And it's going to slowly ingrain in your head, like, I got to bet. I can win all this money.
Well, and since they're owned by Disney, then you're going to have, Mickey Mouse and them, give all the kids like little sports bet.
Well, I heard they're going to put a casino in Disneyland here soon.
Sure they do.
You're going to be able to play craps. And
They already have, Club 33. It's
Yeah.
an exclusive club, 33-degree
so
masonry.
What? They got Club 33 at Disneyland?
yeah, it's the only place you can get alcohol in Disneyland.
Oh, man.
Private club.
I'm glad you brought that up. Last time I was in Disneyland, I
Don't
went
try to-
all over the park trying to find some alcohol. Couldn't find it anywhere.
You got to go across to California Adventure.
Okay, real
Alcohol
California.
there.
Adventure. Okay, I've
But
never
the
been
only
on that
place
side.
in Disneyland to get liquor is, well, now I think they do have liquor in Star Wars Land.
Oh, I did. You know what? You right. I
In
did.
that bar,
I
right?
did.
Yeah,
Where they
Star
come up
Wars
to,
bar.
my
the
friend
Star
doesn't like
Wars
you.
bar.
Yeah,
I don't
they
like you either.
But they have some. They got their specialty drinks in there that like bubble and shit like that. So
Yeah, but so Club 33, I mean, totally off topic here. But
Like
me
I did
being,
that.
Me
Like I did
being, knowing Disney a little bit, it's a private club. I think there's supposedly like a 10-year wait list to even become a member.
Really?
And it's like somewhere 50, 100,000 a year, I think is what it is.
Walt
And then,
Disney was a 33rd-degree Mason, right?
yeah, and then you that only gives you access to the club. You still have to buy a park pass to even get in to go to the club, and then you still pay for your food and thing inside the club once you're there.
And the children, right?
Yeah,
What?
the children and whatever. No, he's joking. Or maybe he's not. I don't know.
I was like, whoa.
I mean, Walt Disney did have a private suite in Disneyland. I don't know why, but
And there's rumors of a private island in Disney World that,
yeah, some.
I gotta look that up. Y'all
No
educate
comment,
me,
but
right?
yeah. So Club 33, Paul. That's when you made it big when you can afford to become a member. Look into it.
It's a small world after all.
I can become a member right now, but you're saying it's a 10-year waiting list, right?
Yeah. At least last time I heard it was.
Mitch, you know somebody I can talk to?
I don't know nobody at Disneyland.
Well, California's your, the Bay Area is your,
I think they still have Walt Disney's cryogenically frozen body somewhere. You can probably defrost him and find out.
and talk to them.
Yeah.
We're gonna figure that out, man. We're gonna figure that out. But let's talk about what's going on in the sports world here. Michael Oher coming out and saying, what's the parent's name again? Do you know? We don't.
I don't even know how to
Sandra
pronounce
Bullock.
it.
Sandra Bullock? Sandra Bullock?
Got Lady Sandra Bullock portrayed?
Essentially, he's saying that the people who helped him out in his dire situation, how they portrayed it in Blindside, which came out in 2009. I didn't look this up, the story. So
I don't even know how you pronounce this.
Sandra Bullock.
The last name is Tuohy. Tuohy? I don't know.
That's why he's pissed.
well, anyway, I mean, we are sitting at 2023, and now he's coming out and saying he's not adopted. They never adopted me.
Apparently that's true, though, that he's not actually adopted.
Okay, but they signed him into this contract stating, they would get some of the earnings from the movie, which I thought was right. I mean, it was not only based off his story, but based off the book, and they were in the book and stuff like that. So I'm trying to figure out where this is coming from right now, Mitch.
Because he's probably broke.
You think?
No, actually, you know what? I'm just going to go way out there and just give my own opinion. I know it's going to be effed up, but I think the wife that he probably married in 2022 probably wants a little more of that NFL bread now that he's retired, and so now it's probably the one pressing him like crazy.
Well, I will tell you from what I read that he actually wasn't adopted by them. They actually signed him into a conservatorship.
Yep.
So just like Britney Spears, they had control of everything, including all his money, all his rights.
But he's not claiming they're using his NFL money, right? I mean, there's no claims of that whatsoever. It's just claims for the book and claims for the movie.
Well, I think he's claiming that they mismanaged his funds and that he didn't get his rightful share of the money, and then them using
Of the
his
book, though, because I've not heard anything on
in the movie because they've used his name and likeness going forward, and he hasn't seen anything.
I'll just say this, though. Here's why I call bullshit, seriously.
He made, just just to get it straight. He
34
made 34 million.
Playing 8 years, right?
Yeah, 8 years.
And here's the funny thing, though. Let's go back to 2014 or 2013, excuse me. Niners, Ravens Super Bowl.
Right.
Do you guys remember how big a story that was?
No, it was huge.
And the guy from the Blindside's playing, offensive line starting for the game.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? They were right next to him. They were right next to him. He hugged them in the stands. There was the big story. There was nothing of that. In fact, the only blowback I heard back then was he didn't like how he was portrayed because he was portrayed a little bit soft and wet behind the ears,
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people would come up to him in camp and think he was like this big softy dude, and he did not like that. Other than that, that's the only thing I heard back then,
Yeah.
Truthfully.
So, I mean, my opinion is, he's running low on some funds, and, it's the wife. It's the wife.
Married in 2022.
Why
wouldn't she? Why wouldn't she? Like, I'm not trying to be.
I mean, they got married in 2022, but this is his college sweetheart. So, I mean, he wouldn't. I mean, Blindside came out in 2009, so he was in college somewhere, probably like 2005 or something like that.
Got to
So,
secure new funds when they divorce.
yeah.
I'm being real cynical right now. I'm just
Exactly. So, I mean, they just recently got married. I mean, they have kids and stuff like together. I think this is a money grab right now because I'm like, why are we just hearing about this in 2023?
It's either a money grab or CTE, and I'm not even being funny on that. I mean, it's maybe it twisted his thoughts a little bit to where this is at, because my understanding is the author of the book has come forward with documents, stating that what the parents, the conservatorship parents in the family have stated, that each person got the same share and same percentages, and he hasn't, for whatever reason, cashed his, and he wants more. I heard they split it up per family, and each person in the family got the same. I mean, if he got all his NFL money and all the family, got a percentage of that story, I honestly think that's fair, right?
Yeah, but from the other perspective, it wouldn't be the first time a rich white family took advantage of a poor black guy and, milked him for his money. So I can't say, one way or another what's the truth is, but I'm curious to see what comes out in court and what documentation maybe he has that shows that, The one thing I will say that was weird is that she walks around telling everybody that it's her adopted son when legally they never adopted him. So and she still says that to this day. He's my adopted son. He is my adopted son. And I think part of this too is where he got upset is he found out that he really wasn't adopted by them, that it was a conservatorship and wasn't an adoption. And this whole time he thought part of the reason that I read that he started looking into this stuff is because he realized he wasn't adopted and that they weren't really his family.
I'll say this: there was a couple articles that came out before this, like in 2022 or 21, whatever, and it was touching on the fact that he had a good relationship with both kids in the family. Still,
Yeah.
So I mean, it's interesting. It's sad. It's sad. All joking aside and all claims or whatever,
Yeah.
It's sad that it comes to this. You hope that they can, settle this. This was a great story that everybody was proud of. It had to watch the movie,
Right.
And stuff, and
Well, I think it goes to show you there's two sides to every story,
there's a blind side.
Yeah, blind side, the side we didn't see. And no, but it's there's two sides to every story, especially made for TV stuff. They want to make it a feel good story, and
And just to correct you, Nick, there's actually three sides: yours, mine, and the truth,
that's true.
which is mine.
Although everything I say is the truth, so
You can't handle the truth.
I can't handle the truth.
I'll be like, I can't. Bullshit. Bullshit. Anyway, talk about stories. Let's talk about a story, a funny ass story. So we're all, for us, we're all good friends. So we're on a group chat, and all of a sudden I get this weird text out of the blue of like, I couldn't tell what was all over the floor. You're like, this is what I'm dealing with. I'm like,
And well, let me add to this. Nick's on the phone with me as he's going to his house or whatever. He's like, what the fuck is this? He goes, hold on a second. Bitch, hold on a second. What the fuck? I think one of my animals killed a bird. As he's opening his door. He's a dead bird in my house.
So to give you guys a kind of perspective of what we're looking at is he's taking pictures and there's bird feathers all
Down the
over
hallway.
all
The
over
whole
his
house,
hallway.
living room, kitchen, hallway.
It looked like a cross between The Shining and Pet Sematary.
Yeah, so I walk into my house, and I think it was the cat. But when I first walked in, it looked like, I was like, did they rip up one of my down pillows? It looked like feathers all over the floor. and I'm looking, and at first I just think it's like right by the front entryway.
You sure you didn't have a furry party?
And so I walk in the door and I see it's to the right down the hallway, it's to the left all the way into the kitchen, it's all over the living room, and I finally came around the table and looked on the other side of the coffee table, and the bird was just there, ripped into like 3 pieces, and they just destroyed it and tore its feathers all over the house. And I actually looked at the cat, and the cat was just kind of laying there on the floor, kind of just looking up at me. I almost thought the cat was trying to send me a message.
He was. Fluff around and find out.
The cat was like, "You better not fuck with my kibbles." So I walked in, I was like, "This is my nightmare."
Right.
This is what happens when you have 3 dogs and a cat and a girl and a kid all living in your house, and trying to integrate from the single bachelor life to the family life, or whatever you want to call it. It's a learning experience. It's definitely a learning experience.
That was my life 20 years ago. Hey, he's a better man than I am.
I live vicariously through both y'all.
What are you talking about? You'll be there soon. In a couple more years. Hey, Chris.
Whoa.
We're going to work on it.
Whoa.
I know she listens to the show. We're going to work on his ass. Hey, I love you, but,
You ain't getting any younger.
Yeah, you get no younger,
Although Father Time, he
Father
ain't getting
Time.
any older either, so.
Yeah. This is the first time I've got him speechless.
I didn't know we named names on this show,
Yeah, I didn't know we named names either.
Hey, it's
Hey, don't commit a crime with Paul. He did it. I got 2 jacks.
Hey, listen. Hey, as soon as I get my girl, I'll say her name all over the show.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll post this up.
It's all good. But we all know who you're talking about. No, we love you, Mitch. You know what I'm saying? She loves you too. All right.
I hope so.
Jeez.
We gonna move on. Hey, let's talk about a little food we got there.
All right.
What'd you have this weekend?
So I had to go to the other side of town for some training stuff in this business venture I'm doing. Right. So I was, in Central Phoenix area, whatever. So it was kind of cool. I just decided to get a hotel stay out there for the week and check out a few spots. I'll say this, and me and the person you just mentioned.
Just gonna have to go in witness protection.
We checked out one of the spots we absolutely loved was a spot called the Mexicano.
Okay.
And it's like, man, it's right on the border of Scottsdale. It's like basically the border of Scottsdale, Paradise Valley Mall area, and Phoenix. So it's basically Cactus Tatum area. I actually went there once with Lambert before, so I thought about it. I'm like, this would be a cool spot to go to. It was right about 10 minutes from where we were at. So we pulled up, and I knew they have a jumping happy hour. And basically, happy hour is in the bar area. And they have a DJ that plays, so it's pretty cool. Music's loud, it's hip, it's upbeat, and then they have happy hour, and happy hour goes till 6. It's very tough to get tables, even on I think we went on a Wednesday, and it was like, oh, you got the last table right now. And then you look at the menu, they have $2 tacos, and really good tacos. I'm talking like El Pastor with the with the pineapple in them and stuff. They had a good salsa. They had like chicken tinga tacos, $2. And one of the things that we both love was the birria nachos.
Oh, really?
$10 for birria nachos, freaking amazing.
Okay, so what's the hours for the?
All day till 6 o'clock for happy hour.
Really?
All day, yeah.
Till lunchtime?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they said all day. And the other thing that's cool, $5 margaritas. And then they even had a margarita flute. So 4 margaritas, 4 little like the beer size margaritas.
You can try
4 different flavors, $7.
$7 for 4 different flavors. Wow.
Yeah, it was an amazing deal. And then I found out because I put a post up. I'm a foodie, so everybody on my Facebooks and Instagram knows I post about a bunch of food stuff. A couple people popped in. They're like, oh yeah, like this one of my boys is an Italian dude I go riding with sometimes. He actually rides the what's it called, Polaris Slingshot. He also has the Can-Am like mine. He was like, oh, you didn't know that place is, that place is dope. It's owned by the same dude that owns Sicilian Butcher and Hash Kitchen.
Okay.
And when he said Hash Kitchen, that makes complete sense because, they were one of the people that changed breakfast culture out here.
Yeah, I mean, Hash is one of my favorite places to eat. Matter of fact, I think I'm going there on maybe Friday. Sunday.
What time are we going?
Well, I'll tell you this. If you go Saturday or Sunday, let me know.
Yeah. I most likely, it might be Saturday.
Let me know. Let me know Saturday for sure.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be Saturday.
Probably
Just because,
Chandler, huh?
yeah, because I'm going. Definitely the one off.
And I'm staying in Chandler.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I live in Chandler, so.
Okay.
Hey.
But you still got to clean up the bird drops.
Actually, the good thing was that happened yesterday. The maid came today and cleaned the whole house.
Said the bird. Bird is the word.
Disinfected.
Yeah.
So-
No, that'd be perfect because on Saturday, matter of fact, you're talking about food spots. I'm going to my favorite food spot. I'm taking my mom for her birthday. Shout out to my mother.
Happy
Marilyn
birthday, Mom Johnson.
Birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Mom Johnson.
Yeah. That's my ace, my woman, my lady that's been there since day one. Of course, you know, I love that woman so much. But
Since day zero.
yeah. But no, I'm taking her to Oceans.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yeah, on Saturday night. So.
You already know what you're going to order. I know we talked about Oceans a lot here, but it deserves a lot of talk. You know?
Oh, man.
You know what you're ordering?
Oh.
Or do you know what she's ordering?
I mean, you know, for the table, it's gonna come out. It's gonna definitely be. They got this rock shrimp. I call it the bang bang shrimp. They come out.
shrimp.
Yeah, it's delicious.
I know someone's doing the sea bass, right, or something.
Yeah, my mom will probably end up. Yeah, my mom will probably end up doing the sea bass. Me and her husband, we're meat eaters, so we're gonna probably, I'm definitely gonna order the Wagyu. I haven't had the butcher's cut. If you ever there, the end cap butcher's cut. Oh man, it is so delicious and it melts in your mouth. It's perfect.
And shout out to our boy Steve in the gym over there.
Yeah. Is he still? Hold on, is he still at gym? He might have moved on. I don't know. I gotta check that though. When's the last time you were in there?
It's been a few months, but you know.
Okay.
He went. I mean, last time in Pittsburgh, he went from Dominic's to opening his own thing, and then he came back. And
did he? He's back? Okay. I haven't been back in a minute.
And it was Super Bowl. I know it was Super Bowl when I was trying to get a couple tables from him.
Okay. No, that's another restaurant you just brought up. You know, if you haven't up in the quarters, Dominic's. I mean, they're all owned by the same people. So, but I mean, it's a little different, but it's pretty good. You know.
Yeah, no, definitely. Remember, I had my 40th over in Dominic's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm ordering a big bottle of
by the pool. Yep, the inside pool. The two things about Dominic's: the inside pool and then the rooftop. Oh, and real quick, since I think we got a little bit of time, let me tell a quick Dominic story because my boy Greg Lambert's in town this week. He's coming. No, sorry, next week. He's coming in next Thursday. This dude's a character. We're gonna have to get him on the show because he's one of the biggest car dealers in the country.
Yeah,
and he's a character.
You know what? Yeah. Well, hold on. Just think about. So we possibly going to have one of our close friends on next week for a guest. Is Greg gonna be in town for that? Yeah,
he won't be here though for that film.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be toward the weekend.
All right, we'll get him on another time. But
we'll definitely have to get him on.
That would have been comedy hour.
So let's just say this. Nick, were you there for this one?
Which one?
Okay, we went to Dominic's. I want to say it was like on a Mother's Day or something. I was able. In fact, I called Steven to get us in. So Greg pulls a party bus up. He pulls a party bus up. He had a lot of his daughters are all about shout out his daughters. But there was and so it's her, them, their sorority friends or whatever. And then some of the dudes that, hang out with him from high school, and they're in town from like Modesto area. So they're all here. Greg's taking care of everybody too. He's got the party bus. We got drinks flowing. We pull up the party bus to Dominic's. 13 people get out. We go down to the bar, get a couple rounds. We're ready to go upstairs. We go upstairs to the room where the dome is, but the dome's closed or whatever. And if anybody knows Greg, he always starts off like, they're putting the Worcestershire sauce or whatever. Not Worcestershire, sorry. The what's it called? The horseradish sauce. And you know how hot that shit is?
Yeah,
I love that sauce.
And they put it in a little bowl, and he goes, "Well, dude, $300 to whoever drinks this." And somebody tried to do it, and they couldn't do it. Spit it out, whatever. So somebody goes, "I got that." So he gets another bowl of it. The dude just sips this bowl like a kitten with milk, like sips the thing. "See, give me my 3." And he just looks, and his eyes start watering. And he just runs outside. He literally runs outside. His eyes just start tearing. And he just opens the side doors like a little fire door that goes outside to this little courtyard where there's flowers and stuff that look outside.
Right. And
he's running around the corner, and it was funny because all of a sudden he goes by the flowers and he's throwing up in the flowering pot.
He's giving it up, huh?
But here's the funniest thing about it is what he doesn't realize is the window sees through, and everybody in the restaurant's eating dinner on Mother's Day, watching him throw up in the flowering pot.
Oh, that's terrible.
Hey, all I gotta say is if Greg ever gets on the show, we gotta talk about all even like the Dallas, the 2 rows incidents, things that we've done there, and just some of the stuff that he enjoys to spend his money on.
All I gotta say is this guy is definitely worth it. He's one of my great friends. I've known him since I was in high school in California. And he definitely passes my, they say that, you have the airport layover test. The 5 people that, you would want at an airport bar during a layover. He definitely is one of my 5. That dude makes any time fun. So.
Well, we're speaking of airport layover.
Yeah.
I've spent, I think, 6 to 8 hours laid over in Oakland.
Yeah. Oh, and we were doing a lot of drinking because we were going to fly Frontier. So we're like, we better keep drinking.
Oh my God, that was crazy. We got all smelling like a brewery.
Oh, yeah.
We was tore up. My ex-wife picked us up for that. She was like,
she was calling, you better not get on that flight.
Yeah.
Those things crash. I'm like, whoa. I'm going to keep drinking.
She said, I remember we got in the car and she was like, you guys just got back from the brewery? Right. We was reeking. I can't believe they let us on that.
Oh, I know.
Man, what was that, 6 hour? That was about 6 hour layover or something like that?
6 hour layover for an hour and a half flight.
Yeah, exactly. It was crazy. It was delayed crazy.
Well, don't be jinxing me. I'm flying out and back tomorrow to Portland, and I don't want to get stuck. I'm already flying out at 6 a.m., not getting back till 10 p.m. I don't need to get a layover, so.
That's crazy. You anywhere cool this weekend? This past weekend?
This weekend, no, but I will say I am getting ready to go to New York here in a few weeks.
Yes.
And
it's right
I'm
around the
looking
corner.
forward to my favorite bagel place of all time.
Einstein's.
No, it's called A&S Bagels in New York. They actually make, they're like a bagel factory with like a little shop in the front. They supply like, I don't know how many, probably hundreds of bagel shops around New York City and
Even out
Long
here.
Island.
Or supposedly they offer out here,
They
freeze or whatever.
Yeah, I think they do. But so you walk past and you look through the one door and there's just these big vats and they're just pumping out bagels. The cool thing about it, they're open 24/7. So you can go in at 4 a.m. drunk, go up and have them make you like a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich on a
Wow.
bagel.
What's this place called?
It's called A&S Bagels.
A&S, okay.
So it is, and I've been to other bagel shops in New York. Those are my favorite bagels when I go to New York. They also do a French toast bagel that you toast it, and then I usually put some butter and then a little bit of syrup on there. It tastes just like French toast. It's amazing. So that's the one thing I'm looking forward to eating is some amazing bagels and A&S. Like I said, bar none.
I thought you said ASS.
No, A&S. Probably one of the best bagel places in the country.
This is a no judgment zone regardless.
No ASS bagels, A&S bagels. Some of the best bagels in the
I
country.
know, time was flying by quick, man. We almost up on Labor Day. That's why I say, because you go to New York for every Labor Day for
I do.
for your family reunion.
Yeah, I sneak out and get up there and eat a bunch of Italian food and bagels and bread. For some reason, I don't know, New York has like the best bagels, the best bread. You just can't replicate it anywhere else.
Right.
Like their rolls even, like you get a sandwich with like a roll or on a sandwich roll or just any kind of bread. It's
They have the best wraps, too.
unbelievable. They do have some big ass rats.
They do look like fucking.
But I don't know what they do because you get like bread out here and it's like just not good. It just doesn't have a good flavor to it.
I think it's the water.
They say it's the water,
everything's the
but,
water. That's the
but
answer
they
for
can
everything.
ship the water places and it's still.
Hey, the interest rates are going up. It's the water.
I don't know. The
The water out
bread,
here is terrible.
bread and some of the best. You can't get it better bread. And
Sounds like you're
bagels
about your
and things.
bread.
I'm all about my bread. I mean, I'll go to New York. I'll put on easy 5 pounds, if not more, in 4 days. So
When you walking around, was that up there for Labor? Yeah,
that was Labor Day when we ran into each other.
Yeah, ran into. Man, that was just the craziest thing. I mean, of all places, middle of Central Park, you're walking. I didn't even know you were there. You didn't know you. We bump into you. Me my ex-wife bump into him. Out of all places, New York, huge as shit. And then we end up bumping into him. It was just
it's a small world, baby.
small world, definitely. All right, man. So we almost come to the end of the show, but so you know what we got to do. You know what? Let's start this off with Greedy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, like I said, I'm going back to New York for my family reunion.
That's awesome. Congrats.
And I'm just gonna say, tradition is important. Like my family's been doing this reunion, same reunion, every Labor Day. This is the 84th year in a row. Never missed one. During COVID, they even did a video reunion because people couldn't be there in person.
Those don't count.
So there really hasn't been a year that they missed in 84 years. And as I'm seeing like my dad's generation getting older and, his aunts and uncles have all died off now for the most part. And now they're the head of the elders in the family tree. It's good to just be part of that and, be part of family. And my dad has 56 first cousins on that side of the family.
56?
Yeah, so my grandma was one of 12, and between them they had 56. And now, they all have kids, and their kids have kids, so there's hundreds. I mean, our 75th reunion, there's over 200 people there. Okay. So it's just a big, giant thing. And, as it's gone on, and the older generation and more families have moved out of New York, it's it seems like some people don't take it as important, or they'll find an excuse not to go back because they're not living in New York anymore, where they all lived growing up. It's just, my opinion is, I've made a conscious effort about 7 or 8 years ago to make sure I'm there every year, because I don't know how much longer we all have, and you never know when a reunion is going to be the last time you see somebody, and that's really the only time I get to see a lot of these people. So, if you have the time and your family's doing something, or even if your family doesn't, put something together. Go see those extended family members that you don't always get to see, because, they may not always be there, and you may not have that opportunity. And if you have a tradition like that, do whatever you can to keep it alive, because, it's important to, keep your family traditions and heritage alive and well, and spread it to the next generation of family members.
There you go. You taking your girl back this year?
Not this year, next year. This year's a quick trip. I'm just going in and out because
Aren't you gonna say his girl's name?
got a lot of other stuff going on.
Not yet.
But,
Not sure.
But yeah, next year she'll for sure be there. So
One show at a time. You got to divulge stuff one show at a time. Mitchell, what you got, baby?
So, okay, my thought of the day, and first of all, didn't your dad just have a birthday too?
he did in July, yes.
Okay, well, that's close. Yeah, close enough. Happy birthday,
belated
Mr.
birthday.
Yeah, Mr. Kurzil, of course,
Yep.
great man. Yeah, my thought of the day actually happened. Sunday night. I checked into a hotel, and checked in a little bit late. I actually went there earlier, thinking trying to see for my early check-in or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I'll be around about 1. Get caught up, at the bar or whatever else. Next thing you know, I'm coming in 9:30, checking in. Finally, oh my God, and 1 didn't work, but 9:30 works. And so I'm going up to the front desk. Cool girl working there, whatever. And I always try and practice, like, especially because I've worked in customer service. Today it just seems like people are so not human. It's like they're just so thinking 10 steps ahead, not even thinking at all. So I always try and practice just being human. Greeting people. Again, it's like I'm the customer service person. So I do like, hey, how's it going? How's your night going? Genuinely. Oh, you having a good night? And right off that, I could see like a deer in headlights look, like it was like kind of a nervous energy. And I'm like, I was like, is everything okay? And she was like, there's this guy that's kind of harassing me. And I'm like, for real? I go, where's he at? And she goes, well, he left. He's been back a couple times. I think he's drunk, and I'm just kind of, I don't know. I just don't feel safe, whatever. And I'm like, are you serious?
Crazy.
And I looked around, and she's the only person working right now. It's like 9:30. There's nobody in the hotel. And I'm like, and then my girl comes in, she was, I don't know what she was doing. She was grabbing something. So she comes in, so I let her know real quick. I go, hey, she said this. I go, I'm going to, So I go, hey, you know what room I'm in? You have my cell phone on the paperwork. I go, call the room, call my cell. I'll be down in less than a minute, no matter what. Just, want to make sure you're safe, whatever else. I go, in fact, I'll come back and check on you in a little bit, whatever. She goes, oh, thank you so much, whatever. So we go up to the room, and whatever. And I go, you know what? I'm going to go back down. I had to get ice anyway, and they didn't have ice on the second floor. So I'm going back down. So I go back down, and I see some dude there in front, and I point, and I go, is that him? She goes, no, he has a red shirt, red shirt. I'm like, all right, cool. Get my ice. I start to go up. I go upstairs. I look back down over the balcony, the red shirt's there. And he's waiting for that one dude to leave, and he's like pacing around, walking, whatever, real nervous energy, kind of in his 20s, whatever, but like you could tell aggressive, focused on
Was
her.
he on drugs, or you think he was just drunk?
I think he was drunk, but you never know what kind of drugs people sneak in, whatever. And so I look back down over the thing, so I go tell my girl, I go, hey, I'll be right back, I'm gonna, I don't like this at all, whatever. So I go back down, I just post up on the side, I'm watching this. Now some other couples there. And he's like, you can tell he's just annoyed because they're checking in and he's wanting to talk to her or whatever else. So he's, so I'm watching or whatever. That couple finally checks in, and then I just beehive and cut him off. I go, hey, by the way, I go, my boys are coming through. There's gonna be a few of them coming through. Can you let them know where my room is? It's gonna be in a couple minutes. They're coming through. And I just look at the dude real quick just to say that, just to keep him on his P's and Q's a little, And then she goes, oh, of course, I got you. Cool. I go, okay, perfect. So I go, and then I was pointed upstairs real quick. I went back around. And then I went back upstairs, and I'm just watching from the balcony just to see, and he's starting to beehive over, and then I see some dude in a black shirt come up. And I'm thinking to myself, oh shit, hopefully he's not friends with that. Because if he's friends with the dude in the red shirt,
Right, it's gonna be a
this shit is going to be, this is crazy.
Right.
I don't like this at all, like this girl getting kidnapped or whatever, like seriously. So I come back down hella quick, and I'm trying to read, and the dude in the red turns back, he sees me, whatever. And then the dude in the black, I finally make eye contact with him. She's talking to him on the side, and she says something to him, and he looks over and he gives me a what's up, So I'm like, oh, she must know him, or whatever. So anyway, I go back over, and she kind of nods at me, whatever. So I go back over, and I go, hey, like I said, you need anything? I got you. And I just look at the dude real quick because I'm saying that shit, anything. Right. I'll be down in a second. I got you. I'll handle it. And I said that straight up.
Right.
And so I finally go back upstairs. And when I get back upstairs, my phone rings in the room, and she goes, hey, I just want to say thank you so much. You made me very comfortable, like you made me feel safe. And I go, hey, who's that dude in the black? Was he, oh no, that's my husband. I go, I thought so because I got the nod. He goes, and by the way, he says thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. I'm off now. He's gonna walk me to my car. The crazy thing is the dude is still here trying to talk.
Wow.
And I go, and what's it called? Yeah, so I go, well, hey, again, if you need me, I'm down there in a second. Just let me know. And she goes, no, thank you so much. You made this so much easier because it was creepy. He actually was trying to get me to go to his room and all this other stuff. And I was like, dang, that's crazy, Right. So my whole point and my thought of the day is, is be vigilant. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling people to be a superhero. I'm not telling people to, have to get in a fight or do altercations. But you can call the police. You can stand and be a nuisance and just, make sure, at least being there, maybe someone doesn't do some actions. Mm-hmm. But call the police. Be another eyewitness. Videotape the shit. But definitely, let's support, especially females, especially kids, but anybody that's in need. Mm-hmm. I see that too many times. People look the other way. They say, oh, it's not me. But imagine if that was your daughter. Imagine if that was your girlfriend, your wife, your mom. Right. Again, let's be vigilant. Let's be a source of help. Again, in the capacity that makes sense. Be smart about it. Again, don't be a superhero. Don't be a vigilante. But again, it's nothing wrong with giving that that extra help to to people when they need it. Like I see all these horror stories. Hear all these horror stories of kids almost being followed in Walmarts and stuff. We all, especially as men, mm-hmm. we should all be looking out for that shit.
Right.
And I'd pray the day someone tries to grab a kid in front of me. You know what I mean? Right. Whatever. I'm sure people will pay my bail. But let's just definitely be vigilant. Let's, like you said last week, pay it forward. Mm-hmm. Let's definitely do these good deeds. We don't know how long we have, but man, we can make an impact in a positive way. And I think that's really what life's all about.
There you
You
go.
It's funny. My girl last night, she was like half asleep, half awake. Asked me if someone would ever mess with her if I'd get in a fight for her, and I had to think for a second, and it reminded me of Martin Lawrence, and he's like, depends. Like if Mike Tyson was talking shit to you, I might have to think differently. I might be like, Mike, what'd she do? Come on now. So I thought of that Martin Lawrence joke, and I was like, oh man. I don't like to fight. I'm not a fighter, but I'm not going to let someone disrespect you, so you don't ever have to worry about that. But yeah, it was just funny that, you bring that up. And then she asked me last night if I would fight somebody for her. She didn't remember asking me this morning because she was half asleep. But, family life, what can I say?
Sounds like usual.
Don't remember what happened the night before, huh?
Hey.
Mine is a little bit different this week. Mine is talking about envy. And this envy breeds jealousy. And, my saying, I always had this funny sayings. It's out there. What I eat don't make you shit.
I thought that was Jay-Z's thing.
I think he got that from Big. But no, I use it too. But anyway, essentially is don't be worried about what the next man has or be envious of what the next man has. Because then you could never appreciate what you have. You know what I'm saying? Be happy for that person. If you want to do anything, strive to be that person, or ask them, how they get there. If you want something they may have, or how they get it, how they go about getting it. But don't be hateful about it, because that, like I said, it just breeds jealousy, which then breeds hate, and it doesn't get you anywhere. So that's what I'm saying is just be appreciative of what you have, and like I said, if you want something, go get it. Work hard. Go get it. But on that note, We out.
Two on the 10 podcast.